Up next, we're answering your questions about all the ADUs going up around San Diego, the challenges some of them are getting to get approved. Plus, a working for you success story, a business owner fed up with what's happening outside his doors, what it looks like now, and police tell us their long-term solution. And how many text messages and phone calls have you received from political campaigns? How to limit them, and are those messages even legal? Hello, and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Anna Laurel. Here at CBS 8, we're working for you, getting to the bottom of problems you've asked about, and we're looking for solutions. Let's start with housing in San Diego. Over the last couple of years, we've brought you numerous reports about the boom in ADU construction in the city of San Diego. We've covered everything from single-structure granny flats to mini apartment complexes. We want to know what the city's process is for permitting. CBS 8's Brian White is working for you to get answers.
Beautiful. Keep on coming down nice and easy.
We're seeing an ADU construction boom in the city of San Diego. Of the 10,000 homes approved for construction last year, 20% of them were ADUs, according to Michael Prinz with Development Services.
In a city that is largely built out where we have very little vacant land available, accessory dwelling units are an important tool.
Whether you're a big developer looking to drop 14 ADUs in a backyard or just a regular homeowner building one granny flat, the permitting process is supposed to be the same. The average time to get approved right now is about 7 months, but some developers who do this a lot can get it done quicker because their plans are more complete, whereas the average homeowner doing it for the first time may encounter hurdles.
ADUs tend to be a little trickier. We're talking about a lot that already has an established building on it, a house. And trying to meet the requirements, there are still some challenges.
One of those challenges can be knowing the setbacks you're supposed to have. I checked. If you're building a short ADU under 16 feet tall, it can go right up to the property line on the rear and side yard. But if it's taller than that, you need at least 4 feet of clearance in most cases. The way the process works, you submit your plans online and pay a permit review fee, which can range from $1,500 to $2,500. That starts the clock, and within 30 days, they'll let you know if any corrections need to be made. I asked J.C. Thomas, Assistant Director of Development Services, for some tips on avoiding delays.
Making sure you have, again, a licensed architect to assist you, a licensed contractor that has proven track record of experience in construction of an ADU. Those things are very important.
Beautiful.
If you're a do-it-yourself kind of person, that's okay too. They have tutorials and instructional videos for you. Once you've made all the necessary corrections and the city signs off, you pay your inspection fees, which can be a couple $1,000s, and then you can start building. In San Diego, working for you, Brian White, CBS 8.
The city of San Diego is expanding homeless shelter options. By December, close to 500 new beds will open up for people needing a place to sleep. 165 will be in the Veterans Village, with 35 set aside just for veterans. Another 105 beds will open up in a new motel shelter, and more than 200 new spots will be added to San Diego's safe parking programs. Mayor Gloria says there's no quick fix for homelessness.
Everyone here understands that these shelter programs are merely stops along the way to permanent housing, which is the ultimate goal that all of us are striving for.
Additionally, the state's Home Key program will create over 200 new homes for formerly homeless San Diegans. The city is also starting a new homeless diversion program that aims to free up 150 beds that are right now occupied. Now, all of this is in response to the loss of about 600 beds at 2 shelters by the end of the year. A tour guide company is giving thanks to CBS 8 for working for you on an ongoing issue to stop drugs and violence that's happening right in front of their storefront. This is a follow-up to a story we first told you about in June, and now the Courtyard is cleared. CBS 8's Abby Black has been working for you on this story, and she shows us what's changed.
It's been 4 months since we've been here to the 300 G Street Park, and the owner of another side of San Diego Tour says he continues to be fed up with people doing drugs. There's violence and defecation. They feel unsafe, and so do the people visiting our beautiful city. We've been working for you. Now this has been cleared out, and San Diego police say they have long-term solutions.
That was a kung fu fight that took place right behind us.
This was the scene 4 months ago.
So here's the guy taking a leak.
And up until today,
It's a really deplorable situation of drug use, alcohol abuse, people screaming.
all of this happening in front of another side of San Diego Tours at the G Street Mini Park at 3rd Avenue.
New employees are quite intimidated, as the guests are too. We've had guests come in just absolutely frightened.
Kevin Wilkerson is a tour guide for the company who says countless get-it-done reports have been filed. Police are clean and safe respond and clear the courtyard, but eventually encampments pop back up.
It's embarrassing. I can't believe the city could allow something like that to happen.
The owner says that he was fed up and reached out to CBS 8 again for a follow-up, and at the same time contacted the San Diego Neighborhood Policing Division.
This has to be something we address on a regular basis. So.
Right before we arrived, San Diego police say that they cleared 12 people from the courtyard. One was given information about resources.
The other subject was issued a citation for drug paraphernalia.
Wilkerson shared his relief with the sergeant.
I'm glad to see enforcement taking place. I think that's really the key.
Sergeant Chris Smith is new to the Neighborhood Policing Division and says that this will be a target spot for foot patrols.
I'm a dad and a husband, and we come downtown too, so I have kind of a personal motivation to see it improve as well.
Smith says that the department plans to add more officers to the beat who will use enforcement by having compassion, by offering resources, but also accountability to the law.
We won't be repeating steps. If we see that they've already been informed of the law, then we will go on to the next step of the enforcement.
The tour guide says that he welcomes the new enforcement approach.
And the fact they actually took action and were issuing citations is a very hopeful, promising situation now. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yeah.
Working for you in downtown,
Thanks for coming out again.
Abby Black, CBS 8.
Channel 8 gets it done, right?
A day, and they send me all throughout the day at night too.
Oh, yeah, all day and all night. If you're getting bombarded with election text messages and phone calls, you are not alone. In the final days leading up to the election, chances are you have noticed those messages ramping up. CBS 8's Shannon Handy is working for you and shows us if all the texts and phone calls are legal and how you can actually limit them.
It happens every single day. You're being inundated with text messages and calls from campaigns asking for money or urging you to vote.
8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm just fed up.
10 text messages each day. I don't need but one.
I asked people outside the registrar's office their thoughts. Everyone I spoke with had the same reaction.
What do you think about all these messages?
It's too many.
According to a new report published by California Public Interest Research Group, or CalPIRG, despite a federal law aimed at reducing spam calls and texts, unwanted calls are only down 17% in 3 years. Yet unwanted robo-texts have tripled during the same time frame. Call blocking service RoboKiller says Americans received a record 15 billion political texts in 2022. That's an average of 50 for every cell phone in the country, a record that's on track to be broken this year.
Political calls and texts don't have to play by all of the same rules as other types of marketing, text messages or calls, but there are some rules that they need to abide by.
Jen Engstrom is the state director for the CalPIRG Education Fund. She told me political calls are exempt from the national do not call list. As for political text messages, they're okay too. But if it's a robo-text, they need your consent, something you likely gave unknowingly.
You might not have realized that you gave consent by signing something online or making a donation in the past, and there was probably some fine text.
So how can you stop them? For unwanted text messages, reply back with the word stop. You can also report the sender by forwarding the text to 7726 or spam. Also, depending on your mobile phone type, you may have a setting that filters messages from unknown numbers. For example, on an iPhone, open Settings, tap the Messages icon, and scroll to the Filter Unknown Senders. For phone calls, Engstrom says block the number, don't answer, or if you do and there's a real person on the line, tell them to stop. Finally, she warns, be wary of scams. Don't click on links and only give money on an official site.
Those are some really good reminders there. As for how people are getting your number, campaigns are allowed to access some of the information you provide when you register to vote. And up next, we're working for you to get answers about encampments along a popular Ocean Beach bike path. We'll show you what's being done to remove them. Plus, our viewers wanted to know what is going on with this abandoned building in La Mesa. They've been looking at it for years. We'll show you what we found out after some digging. Cyclists are reaching out to us about encampments and trash along the Ocean Beach bike path. It's an issue that's been going on for years. So we sent our Brian White out there to take a look. He's working for you to find out what's being done about all this.
It's just frustrating that it's getting worse. And this is a recreational area, and it's dangerous.
Wesley Hill says he's rattling cages at City Hall about the degradation of the OB bike path. He couldn't meet up in person, but I spoke to him over the phone today.
It's just really heavily dense with homeless encampments again, and this time they're actually have moved on to the path itself.
I rode with Wesley on the bike path last year along the riverbed as he showed me all the trash and encampments in the area. This is what he said then.
I really hope the city understands that it is a safety issue, not just for the people that live in the encampments, but for the people that utilize the bike paths.
And now Wesley's still frustrated, and so are other cyclists.
It's pretty serious. I mean, it's crashes everywhere.
I rode the path today. I saw trash, graffiti, and a few encampments under the freeway, but it did appear cleaner than I've seen it before. As it turns out, city crews were out there cleaning up this morning, 24 hours after Wesley complained about it.
I remember when they opened that stretch up years ago to connect Mission Valley to the OB bike path. It was great. But now it's basically become a homeless highway.
There's a mix of city and state property around the bike path, so I reached out to Caltrans. They told me they have an easement with San Diego that gives the city jurisdiction over the property under the I-5 freeway.
I understand things can't get better instantly, but it's a disgrace. It really is. The river should be something we treasure, and instead it's getting worse.
I reached out to the city of San Diego. A spokesperson told me SDPD has 2 riverbed teams working the area, that abatements on city property are an ongoing effort and will continue as needed. In Ocean Beach, working for you, Brian White, CBS 8.
All right, thank you, Brian. After years of complaints and getting rated as one of San Diego's most neglected streets, city crews started much-needed repairs this past week on Aquamensa Road. It's been dubbed as the Alligator Road because of its web of cracks, and it hasn't seen major repairs in more than 20 years. With its failed rating, the street was deemed so distressed, it required full construction. One neighbor we spoke with says he's happy the road is getting repaired.
Wasn't always so bad, but now I guess we are the worst street in San Diego. But it's getting done.
Finally, there are still plenty of other roads around San Diego that need repair. Right now, only about 1 in 5 San Diego streets are considered to be in good condition. Okay, have you seen this abandoned property while driving in La Mesa? It's been sitting empty for a long time, and people are fed up with looking at it. Working for you, CBS 8's Alex Sly did some digging to see what's going on here.
This used to be a gas station. Now it's fenced off and boarded up. People I spoke to said that it's been sitting abandoned for years and even called it an eyesore.
The former Smog and Gas station sits on the corner of the busy intersection of Jackson and Parkway Drive.
He's been around since I was, I think, a kid for as long as I can remember. I'm born and raised here since '85.
The sign still says shop open, but people say it hasn't been open for years.
I don't remember it being shut down the whole time, but it's definitely not been operational for at least 10 years.
So it's been a few years since I started working here in the area, and then the building has just been pretty much abandoned ever since.
And people facing homelessness have been seen camping out in the abandoned lot.
From time to time, I do see like homeless people just hanging out there. Yeah, it's just been sitting there.
I took a look to see what I could find out. The property 8303 Parkway Drive is not listed as available online. The website Property Shark lists the property owner as 8303 Parkway Drive LLC. It says it was bought in February of 2019. However, I found the address on the active development projects page on the city's website. It says an application is under review right now for it to be a Qdoba restaurant. The applicant listed is Cali Queso Corporation. I reached out to the city of La Mesa for additional information.
Hi, this is Alex with CBS 8.
I'm told the city is communicating with the property owner and is making sure the property follows city codes as the plans for a Qdoba are being processed. So far, there are no code complaints on file, but there were concerns about trash and debris, although the city says the owners are addressing the issues. I also reached out to Qdoba, but have not heard back. In the meantime, the empty lot will stay.
It would be nice to have a gas station there at the corner. Anything would be nice.
The building being there doesn't really bother me, but I think we could always use another gas station over here or something.
Working for you in La Mesa, I'm Alex Lai for CBS 8.
All right, thank you, Alex. So how safe is it to eat fish that's caught off our coast? We're going to take a look at a new study that examines DDT and the troubling concerns for marine life. DDT was banned in the U.S. more than 50 years ago, but a new study shows fish still have the poisonous pesticide in their system. The study was conducted by researchers at Scripps Institution of Oceanography. CBS 8's Steve Price is working for you and shows us what they uncovered.
The federal government banned the use of DDT in the early 1970s, but more than 50 years later, researchers are still finding fish off the coast of Southern California that have the dangerous pesticide in their system.
I don't think anyone believed that it would be a problem for as long as it has been.
Lillian McGill is leading the research team at Scripps Institution of Oceanography that's been looking into the long-term effects of DDT in the fish we eat. DDT got into our water because between 1940 and 1970, the company that made it dumped hundreds of tons of contaminated waste into the ocean at several different sites, including spots off the coast of San Diego.
Across the entire Southern California bight, there are definitely hot spots of DDT where you need to be really careful about what you eat.
McGill said what they found is that the DDT didn't really spread very far from the spots where it was dumped, but that the sediment in those spots were definitely contaminated.
In our results, we see that species that reside on the sediment and pretty low in the water column, like halibut, which is a flatfish, they tend to have much higher concentrations of DDT.
But McGill says fish caught right off the coast of San Diego did not show signs of unsafe contamination because in our area, the dumping happened in deeper water, farther out, unlike fish caught in the Palos Verdes Peninsula in the LA area where there was dumping just off the shoreline.
I was really surprised at how strong the relationship was between fish and sediment contamination. So if you look at it, it's a pretty linear relationship where you get higher DDT in sediment and you get higher DDT in fish.
Researchers also found that fish today don't have quite as high of DDT levels as they did in the late 1990s, but it's not clear if the water is safer or if over time the contaminated sediment has been buried by new sediment.
And again, that was Steve Price reporting. Now, people exposed to DDT may experience several symptoms, including nausea, tremors, dizziness. Long-term effects can include several different types of cancer, along with respiratory problems. With the holiday travel season less than a month away, airlines now have a new way of handling refunds for canceled or significantly delayed flights. Under a new federal policy, airlines must now automatically refund passengers within a week if their domestic flight is delayed by 3 hours or more or 6 hours or more on an international flight. But that's only if the passenger does not accept alternate travel options. The refund policy also covers a change to your arrival or departure airport or added connections. The new rule also includes refunds for significantly delayed bags returned. All right, that's going to do it for us. Remember, if there's something you'd like us to look into, email us at workingforyou@cbs8.com. Thanks so much for joining me. We'll see you next time.